March is here and Lent is just a sunset away. Yes, time is moving fast. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. We travel out west to hear of a wonderful program that is moving youngsters off the streets and into tourism-based jobs. There's also news and a few important messages, so stay with us.
If you no want pop down and fenke, you fi burn mosquito and run with dengue. So no make water cycle in open container. For them to read up under the danger. Usher them out, run them away. Slap them with the zapper and down them with spray. Use mosquito net and mosquito screen. Protect your household, now make them come in. If you no want pop down and fenke, you fi burn mosquito and run with dengue.
A message from the Ministry of Health.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, March 5. The National Security Council has agreed on guidelines to draft an Enhanced Security Measures Act. This follows a meeting of the Council on Friday chaired by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. With the discontinuation of the states of public emergency, the new legislative framework was proposed by the Prime Minister to give intermediate and specific powers to the security forces. It should allow them to disrupt criminal networks, reduce violence, and increase public order. In a press release, the Council outlined conditions that must be in place to guide the framework. They include conditions to trigger and sustain the measures, a system of accountability and judicial recourse to protect the rights of citizens, provision of specific powers such as search and detention, and persons designated with responsibility for use of such powers. Prime Minister Holness says government is moving towards completing this important piece of legislation. In the meantime, he asserts that the use of the state of public emergency is still a viable option to be implemented for the safety and protection of citizens. April 4 is the new by-election date for the Portland Eastern constituency, with nomination day being March 15. The new date supersedes the previous announcement by Prime Minister Andrew Holness on March 1. This is to give at least 5 clear days for nomination following the announcement of an election, taking into consideration Ash Wednesday, a public holiday which is not counted. The Portland Eastern seat became available after the death of Member of Parliament Dr. Linville Bloomfield. Contending for the seat are Anne-Marie Vaz of the Jamaica Labour Party and Damian Crawford of the People's National Party. $143 million has been earmarked to complete a diagnostic center at the College of Agriculture, Science and Education CASE in Portland. This is being done under the establishment of Diagnostic Center project within the Ministry of Education. The money has been set aside in the ministry's 2019-2020 budget. The funds will be used to engage a consultant to conduct an assessment for improving wastewater system, as well as to complete the design and construction of the CASE Diagnostic Center. 2 such centers have already been constructed at Church Teachers College and Sam Sharp Teachers College since the $385 million project began in 2015. Spirit Airlines has introduced non-stop flights between the Orlando International Airport in the United States and Jamaica. The non-stop flights will operate 4 days per week at Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay and 3 days per week at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston. In welcoming the additional flights on Thursday, Regional Director at Jamaica Tourist Board Odette Sobram Dyer said an expansion of gateways augurs well for economic growth in the country.
Over the last few months, we have welcomed maybe about 5 or 6 airlines opening up new gateways into Jamaica, and this is a very good for the destination.
And finally, Minister of Sport Olivia Grange has expressed congratulations to Jamaica's senior reggae girls football team for winning their 2 friendly international matches against Chile. On Thursday, the girls won with a 1-0, while on Sunday the scoreline was 3-2.
I came here with every confidence that our girls would win. And they did win. They made us proud. I want to congratulate the JFF and the reggae girls for once again making us proud, and for them to continue on this journey right through to taking the World Cup back to Jamaica.
We are pretty satisfied and we are convinced that we will be going to France, not just to have qualified for the World Cup, but we're going to be competitive. I want to say congratulations to the technical staff and of course to the girls who really would have made us very proud tonight.
Both teams are using the matches as part of their preparations for this year's FIFA Women's World Cup tournament, which will be held in France in June. The Reggae Girls will first face Brazil on June 9, while Chile is down to oppose Sweden on June 11 in their opening matches. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Do you know what a disability is? A permanent loss of function in any part of your body is called a disability. Some people are born that way. Others get a disability because of an illness or an accident. This doesn't have to prevent you from living a full life. The Disabilities Act will protect your right to work, raise families, or do business like anyone else. Visit jcpdja.com. A message from the JCPD, an agency of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
Young people interested in the tourism industry, this next feature is for you. The Ministries of Education and Tourism have joined forces to train more than 600 youth to gain work in various positions at resorts and attractions. Take a look.
So, good afternoon. Would you like anything? Would you like any drink, any sweets, any music?
Some music, please.
What kind of music do you like, man?
Like cultural music.
Okay. One love. One heart, let's get together.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Jamaica.
Thank you.
Is this your first time here?
Yes, it's our first time here.
Oh my God, and you chose our hotel. I'm so happy for you guys. Okay, we're gonna give you the best service of your life.
I'd like that.
Okay, and at the end, you can just place your comments and tell us how you feel about our hotel, okay?
Sure.
So, you're the Apache family, a family for two, and your payment method is by credit card, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're staying 2 nights?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, you're in room 36.
Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, Mrs.
Today we are going to be continuing our lesson on communication, and we'll be looking specifically at barriers to communication.
Well, welcome back to another session of our guest cycle. And today we are going to be focusing all our attention on the guests in the hospitality industry.
2 programs being offered concurrently. The future tourism workers are being trained in customer service and hospitality tourism and management. At the end of 2 years, the trainees will receive certification in not 1 but 4 areas: an associate degree in customer service, AHLEI certification, National Vocational Qualification of Jamaica NVQJ Level 4 certification, and Customer Service Industry Association recognition. And probably the best yet, at the end of the program, the participants will intern at a tourism location to gain valuable on-the-job training, which could lead to permanent employment.
Any other needs that the customer that we have to bear in mind? A timely service. A 2 minutes wait to a customer seems like 30 minutes.
A joint initiative between the Ministries of Education and Tourism, the program is being facilitated under a Memorandum of Understanding. The Tourism Ministry has pumped $100 million into the educational system. It is a 2-year program offered free of cost to trainees. Applicants must possess 5 CSEC subjects or Level 2 certification in hospitality or tourism management. But what is the HTMP? It is offered by the American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institute, AHLEI, and is the official industry-recognized curriculum to prepare students for work in the hotel and accommodation sector. 650 high school leavers are being trained to take up jobs in the hotel and accommodation sector. The trainees are primarily drawn from the resort areas of Westmoreland, Trelawney, St. James, and St. Anne. St. James, being the tourism capital, has dived full-on into the program. The parish's Anchovy High has more than 20 youngsters enrolled, already learning employable tourism skills.
At Anchovy High, we are unique in the sense that we're the only school in St. James that is now piloting the program. We would have received the invitation to be a pilot school through the Ministry of Education prior to the beginning of the 2018-2019 school year. And we gladly accepted the invitation to have the teachers who would deliver the program trained. And so we would have had a number of teachers from the Consumer Science Department. And so we would utilize the principal's cottage and transform that area to accommodate the program.
30 Jamaican teachers were trained by the American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institute's Certified Hospitality Instructor Program to deliver the course to local youth. 3 teachers of Anchovy High were trained and certified by the American Institute. 2 of those teachers are Olga Clark James and Fayoni Sawyers McFarlane.
The students are very, very enthusiastic about the program. I think they have been learning a lot, and many students want to start the program next year. They are able to see that there's a space for them in this industry, and that this HTMP degree that they will get, along with the other qualifications, can take them places. So we look at the barriers to communication, we look at effective communication, and that is in communication in the workplace. We have, for the guest cycle, we look at all the different parts of the guest cycle. We have executive housekeeping functions. We look at the role of the executive housekeeper. We also look at inventory control, the guest room, that type of thing for the housekeeping part of it. For the acquiring hospitality and tourism industry knowledge, we look a lot on hospitality and tourism, probably from like 1800s onward. We look at it in Jamaica as well as in the United States. And I think for this has been an eye-opener for myself as well as for the students, because we realize that hospitality and tourism has come a very, very long way, and it has a lot of, it is really, really growing.
Mrs. Sawyers McFarlane is equally ecstatic that the program is targeting the nation's youth.
This program is a wonderful program that they could ever introduce in our school system, because it allows the students to get first-hand knowledge of hospitality training. They are able to learn how to approach the guests, how to deal with guests, how to resolve guest issue as it relates to hospitality industry as on a whole, and it will do very well for them.
I would like to become an executive chef. This program teaches me how to work towards it and persistence in doing it. I have learned a lot of things. For one, I've learned about how to communicate with persons better. I have learned how to manage my time as well, how to work under pressure, and just how to persuade myself as a better person as well. I can say it is a very great program, and I would encourage anyone to come to this program.
This program is a great opportunity for anyone who wants to become a hospitality personnel working in the hospitality industry, and it is a great program overall. I've learned to improve my communication skills, my interpersonal skills. I've learned a lot in the courses such as customer service, front desk operation, and housekeeping operations as well. In the future, I would love to become a food and beverage manager, and this course is also done in the HTMP program.
The Ministries of Tourism and Education, combining lesson plans to secure Jamaica's #1 foreign exchange earning product.
Thank you for coming, and we look forward to seeing you, and do come again.
There's a lot more to Jamaica than just what meets the eye. I had always loved art. It was my first love. It set me free. I did some artwork for the Half Moon Hotel. And shortly after, 14 guests showed up at my gate thinking I had a gallery up here. And that gave me the idea that I need to have a gallery. And so the guests would come up, they see the garden, ask if they could go for a walk, but everybody came back saying we should make something of it. It was inspiring, and they described it in many ways.
When they come here, we give each guest a welcome, and a little history about the place before they take the tour. There's one word that they repeat over and over again. Love. They feel love in this place.
One guest we had in the early years was from Germany. And he said, you know, I spent 5 days on the beach looking up in these hills. I just wondered what was life like up there. And he found us. People who travel want to experience. And this is what we try to offer, an experience.
Every guest that leaves this place, say it, I came here as a guest and I felt like family.
Yeah.
Come to Jamaica and be your family.
We all have a story to tell. Mine is just one of millions that are out there, and they're all good.
Are you a farmer or investor who is interested in leasing lands from the government? This information is just for you.
We have 2,000 acres of land in Elim, St. Elizabeth, which is best suited for aquaculture production. We have lands in the Bogwalk area of St. Catherine that's good for cocoa beans production. We have lands in Portland that are great for a range of agricultural production. And we have lands in Brownstown, St. Anne that's good for cattle production. And we continue to scout Jamaica from the east, west, north, and south to discover best land used for agriculture.
For more information on land leasing, call or visit the office of the Agri-Investment Corporation, the agribusiness arm of the government.
I'm giving up sodas for Lent because I want to reduce my sugar content.
Well, I won't be giving up anything for Lent. I don't have a reason why, but I just won't be.
I'll be changing my diet, eating more vegetables and fruits and stuff like that, more health conscious.
Well, I don't really celebrate Easter, so it's not something new for me. What they will be doing at Easter is what I normally do, so it's nothing new for me.
Diabetes is a common illness. Most of us may be aware of its various complications, such as diabetic retinopathy and neuropathy, diabetic kidney disease, and so on. But when it comes to deaths caused from diabetes, cardiovascular complications account for the majority. Diabetes is recognized as one of 4 major factors for developing cardiovascular disease, the others being hypertension, obesity, and cigarette smoking.
About 68% of persons over the age of 65, and this is data now from the American Heart Association, 65% of persons over the age of 65 who have diabetes will die from heart disease, and about another 16% will die of stroke.
Before we take a look at how to manage or even prevent cardiovascular complications of diabetes, let us look at how persons come to develop the disease.
In a nutshell, what generally happens is that diabetic persons have a more rapid rate at which fat and cholesterol is deposited in the arterial system. So we all have that. It's considered part of the process of aging. Fat and cholesterol is being laid down in our arteries. However, diabetic persons tend to have that happen at a more rapid rate. Okay? And as a result of that, what tends to happen is that diabetic persons will progress to a point where they have compromised vessels. So in other words, the lumen, the diameter of the vessel, is narrowed, the flow of blood is limited.
And as the heart muscles become starved of blood, various acids accumulate and persons will tend to experience what is called angina, or a type of chest pain.
You may get complete blockage of the vessel, which may now result in what is called a heart attack.
Heart tissues are not meant to function in an environment where the blood sugar level is elevated. And so, another incidence of diabetic cardiovascular complication results where high blood sugar levels in persons who are diabetic becomes directly toxic to heart cells. This impairs the ability of blood vessels to open normally under conditions of stress, such as exercise, and also causes inflammation and impaired clotting of the blood.
So if they are chronically exposed to those levels of elevated blood sugars, then there are biochemical consequences. There's weakness of the heart muscle, and patients, many of them go on to developing heart failure and so on.
The diagnosis of cardiovascular complications is more difficult in diabetics, where the symptoms appear unclear or may be different from the non-diabetic patient. Take, for example, a non-diabetic person with, say, coronary heart disease.
Generally, they will say, well, look, doc, I felt pressing pain to the center of my chest. It's moving down my left arm. It comes on with activity. It stops when I stop engaging in whatever activity. It feels like a weight or like a pressure, like a squeezing sensation, and it's associated with other things like shortness of breath and so on. Diabetics, however, have a particular problem because they have damage to the nerves, and therefore they may not actually experience chest pain at all. If they do, it may not be the typical angina which we would normally expect a patient to describe. Okay, so oftentimes diabetic patients who are having cardiovascular disease will say that, doc, I just feel a little funny sensation in my chest, a little discomfort, I just feel short of breath, or I'm walking up the stairs, or I'm running after my grandkids and I find that I'm just out of breath.
The rest of the diagnostic process, however, is similar and may include an echocardiogram, ECG, blood works, or various stress tests accessible at public health facilities and at the Heart Foundation of Jamaica. Generally, diabetic patients will have elevated blood sugars in their urine, which, if identified, serves as a red flag and need for more specific testing. A urinalysis or urine dipstick test is generally done as part of school medicals, oftentimes as a screening test for diabetes. As with every illness, early detection and prevention is key to having good health.
It would be good every year for every person to be checked. If you're diabetic, you would have been told how often you need to check your blood sugar by your health professional. But if you're just doing checks and you're healthy otherwise, then at least once a year to check your cholesterol, your sugar, your blood pressure, do your ECG to see if there is any abnormality in the heart.
The treatment of cardiovascular disease in diabetic patients is more holistic, involving lifestyle changes to include diet, exercise, and maintaining a healthy weight.
In a nutshell, we advocate for, eating primarily fruits and vegetables, things like whole grains and nuts, limiting one's intake of fast foods, foods with high fat content, high cholesterol, salt, and so on, and portion size management as well.
More unprocessed foods, less of the very refined high sugar foods. So there are those foods that are obviously very high in sugar. So the typical recommendation, if you look at a plate, half of the plate should be more plant-based foods, leafy vegetables, and some fruit.
In general, 150 minutes minimum per week of moderate exercise such as swimming, brisk walking, jogging, or cycling is recommended. Besides the lifestyle changes, clinical treatment through prescription drugs and surgical procedures is an important element in caring for persons with cardiovascular complications of diabetes.
We have medications to address symptoms. We have medications to prolong life. And that forms an important part of the approach. There are a variety of procedures which diabetic patients and other non-diabetic patients may qualify for, or it may be necessary to pursue. So we speak of things like stenting, for example, coronary artery bypass grafting, which is, of course, open heart surgery, major surgery. Diabetic patients we have a lower threshold for referring diabetics for that kind of procedure just because of the severity of their disease.
Medications developed primarily for use by diabetic patients have been shown to have significant cardiovascular benefits as they reduce the risk of death and complications related to cardiovascular disease in diabetic patients. But with most of them still under patent, access is quite costly. Your best treatment option is to adopt healthy lifestyle practices that make you less prone to developing diabetes or cardiovascular disease.
germs do.
Pink eye running belly, even flu. Germs can make them happen to you.
Put germs on our manners with these. Cover your mouth when you cough and sneeze. Always wash your hand with water and soap. Keep dirty hands from your eyes and your nose and your mouth. You don't want to be sick, take care. Practice every day, no germs down here. A message from the Ministry of Health.
In spite of all our differences, along with all our problems, I believe. And despite the crime and violence and men and women dying, I believe. From the boots to Dolphin Mountains, let all our voices ring. Oh, I believe. I believe that we can make a change and spread a gleam of hope across our country. I believe that we can join our hands and make a difference in Jamaica. I believe. There's nothing wrong with Jamaica that can fix it what is right. Oh, I believe. And regardless of our struggles, we can rise again. Oh, I believe. Others believed in us, but we must also sing. Oh, I believe. I believe that we can make a change and spread a gleam of hope across our country. I believe that we can join our hands and make a difference in Jamaica. I believe. I believe. The steam in every paper, ants in every classroom, I believe. Oh, priests in all our churches, God in all our homes, I believe. It's time to claim our nation and start a reformation. I believe. I believe that we can make a change and spread a gleam of hope across our country. I believe that we can join our hands and make a difference in Jamaica. I believe that we can make a change and spread a gleam of hope across our country. I believe that we can join our hands and make a difference in Jamaica. I believe.
As we close the show for another day, we thank you for staying with us. Please like, share and visit our webpage and social media platforms. And tomorrow, do join us again on this station for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Until then, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Have yourselves a peaceful Ash Wednesday.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.